Today's video is sponsored by Black Gold Compost Company. I want to thank the good people over at Black Gold for the generous donation of all this beautiful black cow manure that we use in our video today, and it's made a tremendous success in our garden. I've been using black cow for many years, ever since 1980, and it's always made a tremendous difference in my garden, and I've been very pleased with our product. I highly recommend it. Thank you, Black Gold, for sponsoring our channel. Well, hello friends, good morning. You know, we've had a whole bunch of requests for us to do a video on how to grow corn. And so today's video, we're going to be starting a 3-part mini-series on how to grow corn. And it's going to be 3 parts. The first part is going to be the planting stage, or, you know, how we get the corn started. The second one is going to be the growing stage, how to care for that seedling all the way up until the time of harvest, and all the things we need to do during that phase of the corn life of the corn stalk. And the part 3 will be you know, the harvest itself, when to know when to harvest and how to harvest, and actually go out and grab that corn off the stalk. So we'll be right back after the break, and we'll get into some detail about how to do this corn. Be right back. Well, welcome back. I got something on paper. We can diagrammatically discuss how we're going to do this this first part 1 of our video today on the planting stage, and you know, go over some tips on, you know, what to look for and how to plan when you get ready to grow corn. So let's come on up here and take a closer look together with me of you know, what we plan to do today for our part 1 of the video, the planting stage. Let's get started. Today we're going to start part 1 of the corn series. This is what we call the planting stage, and on the planting stage, that includes the bed prep, the soil amendment, the planting, and the watering. So these are some basics that we need to touch base with you on and get you ready. So today, on today's video, I'm going to be, first of all, doing the bed prep. I'm going to go out and cultivate about 4 inches deep to loosen up that soil, and I have some really poor sandy soil, of course, so I'm going to have to amend this with a balanced fertilizer. I'm going to use a 10-10. A lot of people use 13-13, and of course you're going to get a lot of blowback from people saying, you know, you're not using organic. But let me assure you that corn, or stalks of corn, are heavy feeders, and they're going to need it. They simply ain't going to get enough out of my soil out there the way it is, so it's going to need a little help. And I'm going to use the 10-10. And I'm also going to amend my soil with about 4 to 6 inch layer of black cow manure to get that animal compost in there to blend in with that sandy soil. And I think that'll really make a difference in the soil. The corn also prefers well-drained soil with a pH between 5.5 and 7.0. That's pretty average. There's really no big challenge there for me. But with sandy soil, which was what I have, it can have a low pH and may suffer from a magnesium deficiency. And for that reason, I'm going to also amend my soil with some minor elements. And these minor elements is something I don't have to do every year. I'm going to amend it with the minor elements, and I probably won't do that for another 3 years. So amending with the minor elements, they're real slow release. They take a long time to you know, incorporate into soil. So it's best to just go ahead and get that started now, and we'll hope for the best on this corn. And we're going to get ready to plant today. And one thing you want to wait for when you're going to plant corn, you want to wait for that soil to warm up, and all danger of frost is past, because corn is a warm weather crop. So don't even attempt it if it's still cold in your area. And your area that you're going to be planting your corn needs to have full sun. And we're going to plant our seeds about 1 inch deep, 3 to 4 inches apart on the row, and we'll space the row 2 to 3 feet apart. And then in approximately 80 days, we should be able to harvest. So we want to keep our watering in mind as well. You want to keep the soil moist, not saturated. Try not to let the plants wilt. So keep your eye on it. If you see a little bit of wilting out there, go ahead and touch it up with the water again. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about the bed itself and how we actually do that. I got a little diagram here I wanted you to see. I drew up. If you're planning on planting corn, what most people generally do is go, well, I only need a couple of rows of corn, I don't really need that much, and they'll go out and plant 1 long row or 2 long rows. And that's something that you don't want to do, because corn is dependent on cross-pollination, and cross-pollination is done by wind. So if you have 2 long 50-foot rows, let's say, and you're trying to get a cross-pollination, it's probably not going to work very well. That's not the way you'd want to do it. If you only want 100 feet of corn like this, it would be better to block your corn. And what I mean by that, instead of 2 50-foot rows, put in 4 25-foot rows. And as you can see, it kind of makes a square block when you do that. The more square your block is, the better the cross ventilation and the cross breeze is going to be, and you're going to get a much better cross pollination. If you don't do this and you have your rows planted out like 2 long rows, what that results in is poorly filled ears of corn. I mean, you'll look at the corn when you harvest it, and it's all sparse. It doesn't have very many kernels in it, and the kernels it does have are scrawny looking. So that's how you want to do that. And when you plant these, I was saying 1 inch deep, 4 or 5 inches apart. After the plants get on up, you want to thin those rows down to about 1 plant every 12 inches, because if you get them too tight, every 4 or 5 inches or so, these things are such heavy feeders that root system is going to entangle itself with the plant next to it, and it's going to starve the plant for nutrients, which is going to result in poorly filled ears of corn again. So that's how we do it. You want a block of rows. You want them 2 to 3 feet apart, and thin them down to about 12 inches apart when they get up. Now, for my garden today, here's my garden plan for this year. As you can see, I blocked out an area right here for my corn, and what I'm doing is this piece of the garden is about 30 feet wide and 50 feet long. So that's still a rectangular shape, but it's still fairly square. So that right there should be plenty of corn in there, and the shape of that block, it should have plenty of cross-pollination through there with really no problem. Now today we're going to be using a white corn for this series, just keeping it simple, nothing fancy. So I got my seeds at johnnyseed.com, and I just got some white corn, and we're going to give it a shot and see how we can do with this corn down here in this terrible Florida soil. Hopefully we can get something out of it. So let's head on over there to the earth bed, and let's get going on all these steps that we just discussed, because today the goal is to get it planted, and that'll be part 1 of our video today, and get that going. Okay, let's head over to the earth bed. We got the job done. We got in our block of white corn in. It's it's getting watered in right now, so we want to keep our eye on that and make sure we keep that soil moist so that it'll have a good germination success. But anyway, we got the part one of getting it planted done. We'll have part two of this coming out very shortly. And we'll talk about the care of the corn after it emerges and all the way up until harvest. So that's on part two, and it'll be here very shortly. So we thank you for watching today. I hope you got something out of the video, and maybe you'll have a chance to grow you some corn in your spring garden this year. So I hope our videos brought a smile to your face and some joy to your heart. So until me and Nancy and Bing Bing see you next time, always remember, by His hands we are fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. Amen.
Have a blessed day.